Here, how are we doing, chat? Can we hear me? We kind of made a couple I stayed up late working on a new scene collection and stuff for the stream. And then like 20 minutes ago, maybe 30 minutes ago, I'm out here doing my prep work, getting my spreadsheet tidied up, and the internet stops. It doesn't work. It went down for a smooth 15 minutes and didn't come back till 5 minutes before launch time at 1:55 my time, 2:55 Eastern. So I there was about 10 minutes of work that I needed to get caught up on, and my bad for bleeding over a little past the projected start time, but here we are. Happy Friday. It is February 12th, 2021. I hope you guys crushed it last night. I hope aesthetically you guys maybe like the new layout. There's still some stuff I want to do to this overlay, but we are here. Last night was interesting to say the least. A lot of late news, a lot of late curveballs. Right, like 5 to 8 minutes before lock, Mason Plumlee rolled out. Was able to jump on top of that, get on to Isaiah Stewart. And then I kind of speculated in the stream yesterday that I figured Cole Anthony, Evan Fournier would both be out. That's how I built my lineup. So I already had ample amounts of Terrence Ross and Nikola Vucevic, but I didn't have, but I did have Frank Mason as like my favorite value play. Matter of fact, I will show you guys my personal player pool from last night. That I post every day for the RunDFS.com subscribers. I had Lillard, Damian Lillard, Steph Curry, Jimmy Butler, and Joel Embiid as my core, like my tier ones last night. Those by design were going to be my highest owned players, and then my tier twos were all right. I had Terrence Ross with asterisk here for the Vipers. That indicated that if we knew for sure Anthony and or Fournier were out, I would rocket Ross to probably a tier one. I ended up with tier one exposures. Tyler Hero got ruled out after that game tipped off. That was annoying. But outside of that, my player pool really got there for me. I was pretty pleased, but I did have like 30% of the Tyler Hero landmine, and I had about 40% of the Frank Mason landmine. He got injured moments into the game, but still my top dogs did my top dogs. So I ended up breaking even for the most part last night, and I was happy with that, all things considered. So hopefully you guys did well. Taking a peek back at the slate, Steph Curry was your beast. That was the guy that outscored everybody else on the entire slate. 67.5 DKP. Sabonis, night 2 of a back-to-back, going against Blake Griffin, Isaiah Stewart, absolutely crushed it. Jimmy Butler has not gotten us less than 44 fantasy points in the since he's come back. Hey, Gun, you have to bring the screen picture up a little so you can see the teams on top of the screen. Not sure what you mean. Joel Embiid, all the top dogs were the top dogs. Like, there was not surprises. I think when we start talking about surprises, we look at maybe a Semi Ojeleye, who had an incredibly hot first half. He drew a start, 34 DKP. Past that, there really wasn't. I mean, Dwayne Bacon dropped a 30 bomb. I'm sure that was a beneficiary of Cole Anthony Fournier out, and Frank Mason going down. TJ McConnell with another 30. This guy's basically earning this 5K price tag. But for the most part, I wasn't really stunned with too many of the end results in terms of fantasy scoring. So hopefully you guys did all right. It was just a matter of avoiding the landmines. Tyler Hero was pretty decently owned on FanDuel. And then, of course, Frank Mason might have been the highest owned player on the slate. And his that happens. So another day, another dollar. We can go back at it today and try and take over the world. We are live on YouTube. Shout out to you guys, man. You guys are crushing it in the live chat. Yo, last night I was working on this this new stream package, and I needed to test the YouTube chat for the overlay, and I type into the chat. I was like, test Nikola Vucevic the lock. Just typing whatever to test the screen. I look back up, and somebody with the username Jermaine Cole, that's right, J. Cole, goes, no, Luka's the lock. I was like, what the freak? So somebody was just randomly in this chat at 3 in the morning. But anyway, Demal Snoopy, solid picks. Lorenzo Robinson, Ben Snappin, Keith Gordon, man, you guys are out here. Paula Kesey, shout out to you guys, showing some early love. Peter Dobush, new graphics look good. I appreciate that. What up, Desmond Morris, Crispy? What's up, Gun? I would be going stars and scrubs or studs and replacements. I like this slate for several reasons. I think that it's just a nice board of high-lows, fast-paced matchups, of guys that should benefit without their teammates. Westbrook without Beal. We got the Bucks without Drew Holiday again. The Celtics without Kemba. There's just enough where if you have the skill set to try and throw a net over it and try to take control, I do like my first look at the slate. So I think we're gonna have some fun today, fighting a nice balance of players. And then slates like this seem to not produce extreme chalk just because it's so big. So I don't have to worry about being 70% on a guy. I think. We'll see. Paul says, I got to chill with the girlfriend for a couple hours, but I got to watch this at like 6. I'm doing 100 lines. All right, man. I hope you crush it. Just know at 6 o'clock, a lot of what we talk about could be thrown out the window due to news. Nathaniel Carby, bring the first beat back. I was going through. Yo, those royalty-free beats do be smacking, though. A-Gun, I got another 50 bomb center for you. Lorenzo, is that your Raj impression? Man's got the bag updated intro image. Yes, sir, man. We had to change it up just a little bit. You're a Dean Quan. Man, the chat is popping today. You guys are killing it. I guess we're all ready to make some money. Darren in the house. MJ the GOAT. Dean said, I missed it. What did he say? I saw something about MLB. The chat is just flying on my screen. It says, people say they can't wait for MLB to avoid this news until their pitcher throws one inning, has a blister on his pinky. Nah. MLB is the best. We love baseball in this house. W German. ACP, what's up, ACP? How are you? I haven't seen you in a minute. Hope you're doing all right. Chat, if you guys missed it yesterday, we did announce it. I'll bring it up here. We are partnered now. I don't want to say partnered. We have a partnership with Prize Picks. If you guys haven't seen Prize Picks, I think this is a great alternative to a lot of you guys that are grinding DFS right now, and you get frustrated at the end of the night because somebody gets scratched out or just duds or whatever, and you're a little frustrated. Prize Picks, I think, is a great addition to the research that you're already doing. It's a great way to reward the research you're already doing, because then you can still bet on individual players to do what they need to do. It's prop betting. It's parlay style. You can make a card of 2, 3, 4, 5 picks. You can bet their FanDuel fantasy points. It's the Prize Picks fantasy scoring, but it's the same as FanDuel. And then you could bet their single stats like points, assists, rebounds. Later on in the stream, I'm going to look at a couple of picks I do like. But I want to let you guys know that Prize Picks has made a deal that if you guys sign up using code GUNDACKER, they will match your deposit up to $100. And it's instant. No slow drip, none of that gimmicky stuff. You get that in your account, and if you put $100 today, you can play $200 today. So go check that out. Take advantage of that. It's a great way to support the stream and another form of fantasy to play. I think it's I have fun with it. It's still parlay betting, right? So don't go making $50 tickets and 5-leg parlays. But they do have a cool way to minimize risk a little bit. I will bring up some picks later on in the stream after we've done some research, and maybe you guys can use a couple of those picks today. Let's get back to the main screen, though. And see what you guys got. Can't play any of that prop stuff in Pennsylvania. Oh, that's tough. But that's tough. That's one of the reasons I like Price Picks, because I don't have access to the sports books. And every day before lock, Chronic and Young C, we're all talking player props and stuff like that. I'm like, man, I can't play that on a site that will let me withdraw ASAP. But Price Picks kind of feels the need there. What up, Mopar for life? I got that win yesterday from the Celtics, $700 plus. Let's go, baby. Desmond, I'm hesitant on Jonas if AD is in. I see what AD defense can do. All right, I'm with it. I just read that. Crushed with Steph last night on Price Picks. Shout out to you for scoring point guards versus Magic reminders. I'm happy. I'm proud. You guys. I'm so you take Nuggets, you roll with them, and I was actually more surprised that the Magic competed for as long as they did, but it was fun. Anyway, this stream, as always, powered by RunDFS.com. That's the place where we don't just play DFS, we run DFS. If you guys want access to my proprietary spreadsheets and tools and my personal player pool, stuff like that, remember, you can always get it with the VIP pass at RunDFS.com. Upgrade, go to VIP threads, and you unlock access instantly. And not only do you get the spreadsheets, you get the Discord. 3 p.m. Eastern every day, I look for that Fantasy Labs tweet. Anthony Davis questionable. LeBron James probable. Blake Griffin's arrest candidate. It's night 2 of a back-to-back. I'm just assuming he's out. Devonte Graham questionable. Evan Fournier questionable. Cole Anthony questionable. Isaiah Roby questionable. Wendell Carter Jr. doubtful. And then we got some news pertaining to tomorrow night. So that's where we're at today. We also know guys like Bradley Beal are out. D'Angelo Russell's out. Kemba Walker out. Mike Conley out. So we already have several key players on teams, key starters on teams ruled out. And we'll have fun kind of watching the seesaw of who's going to benefit the most and what it does to other players on the team. And that's another that on-off court tool that we use for our DFS research. I love using that for prop betting as well, and I'll peek into that a little bit later on. Maybe halfway through the slate, we'll stop and do some player props and price picks and stuff like that. So if you guys have some picks in mind, be sure to kind of save them in the chamber and fire them at me here in a bit. Rod said he'll be here in 8 minutes. So I don't know if I want to stall 8 minutes, but he said he'll be here in 8 minutes. So if you're looking for Rods, he will be here. Let me get caught up on chat just a little bit. Damian Carnan said, where are all the Boogie Cousins haters now? Real silent. Yeah, there's a lot of people doubting Boogie. So some of the criticism on Boogie was the fact that he looked uninspired and, he was just walking around the court. I get that. Boogie's always done that. But the fact that people were just willing to give up on Boogie after 2 blowouts and no fourth quarter run at 6K. Yeah, I don't know. Last night was way more atypical Boogie, but the people that thought he was washed and couldn't get there, I was like, where were you guys 3 weeks ago when he was crushing the slate last leg without Christian Wood? But I get it. If you guys just thought he's lazy at times, I think that's fair. All in on MPJ tonight, maybe. I know Boogie's report got it. Yeah, Boogie crushed it, but you still probably wanted Vucevic on FanDuel and Isaiah Stewart combo with one of the high-end centers on DraftKings. So I don't think Boogie was necessarily nuts or anything like that, but he showed that he can be rock solid for 6K. Hey, if you guys got me on Twitter, twitter.com/Gundecker, you want to show some love, maybe retweet that last tweet of the stream link. Hit that thumbs up, man. We redid the graphics. We're redoing a lot of stuff. If you guys are supporting the movement, supporting the cause, hit that thumbs up, man. Show some love. I'm going to go ahead and get started. I don't need Raj to talk about the Knicks and the Washington Wizards. I think we can handle this. So game number 1 tonight, the New York Knicks taking on the Washington Wizards. Project starting 5 for the Knicks. I keep coughing. Elfrid Payton, Reggie Bullock, R.J. Barrett, Julius Randle, and Mitchell Robinson taking on Russell Westbrook, Raul Neto, Davis Bertans, Rui Hachimura, and Alex Len. 219.5 total, 2.5 point spread in favor of the visiting New York Knicks. So what I do want to do with this is look at the team metrics chart and compare team paces. The Knicks are running the slowest pace in all of basketball, and the Washington Wizards are running the fastest pace in all of basketball. So it is the unstoppable force versus the immovable object, fire and ice. So we take away some possessions from the Wizards, we give some to the Knicks, and then we also have to absorb and digest the fact that Bradley Beal's out, and Bradley Beal represents a lot. But the main thing that Bradley Beal represents for the Washington Wizards is real points, is scoring. Look at this lineup that they have out there. Russell Westbrook is the only guy averaging over 11 points per game. Past that is Davis Bertans, is Rui Hachimura. So I think I'm going to have early skepticism that this Wizards team can play offensively efficient. But just to put some actual numbers on it, I'm going to pull up that on-off court tool from Fantasy Labs and just kind of see what it does just straight up when I take Bradley Beal off the court and who maybe has the best chance at usage and maybe scoring, because I don't think Russell Westbrook's going to pick up all of that scoring. I like Davis Bertans a little bit to pick up some of the scoring load. Maybe Rui Hachimura has to step up, and Alex Len has a chip in a chair, but I don't have necessarily the warm and fuzzies there. We've seen a few great games or a few good games at his price point, and we've seen a couple 8-minute games. So don't feel like we're getting a high floor of minutes, but I think in this particular matchup against the Knicks, it would behoove the Wizards to play as big as they can, as long as they can, using Robin Lopez. But when it comes to picking up the offense here, I think I'm a bet on Bertans and Rui Hachimura, and Bertans is somebody I know historically can be a high percentage shooter, one of the best 3-point shooters in the league. So I do kind of like his. I do kind of like looking his way today. I'm not going to over expose myself to these ancillary Wizards players just because the slate is so big. I feel like I can get a little bit more safer options elsewhere. But Russell Westbrook on DraftKings without Bradley Beal is $9K. And I just don't really see a way where I'm not going to be a decently sized investor in $9K Russell Westbrook without Bradley Beal. The team will sink or swim with him. He'll probably lead the team in shot attempts no matter what. And I'm looking for 50+ fantasy points. And I think in the last couple games, mid 40s with Bradley Beal. I definitely believe that Westbrook has that triple-double potential in this spot. I also think maybe the Knicks should be more than 2.5 point favorites. With my Wizards' doubt on how bad their defense is versus how bad their offense could be without Bradley Beal. I like the Knicks maybe to cover here. So maybe I'm putting that in my back pocket for some sportsbook picks later on today. On the Knicks side, Julius Randle is 8,600 on FanDuel, 9,100 on DraftKings. I mean, this is as good of a matchup as you could ask for him. I like the FanDuel price a little bit more. Still expecting deep minutes. Still expecting him to lead the team in just about everything. We did see Derrick Rose introduced into the Knicks rotation in that last game. I think they will slowly incline his minutes. I got him at 23 minutes right now, and I was able to chop away some pieces on the rotation as a whole. So right now I got 9 guys playing significant minutes for the Knicks. So do I feel a little bit better about guys like Elfrid Payton, Reggie Bullock? No. Just because I X'd out some guards doesn't mean I want to run to them today. But maybe a shot at R.J. Barrett on either side, 5,300, 61. But Randle sticks out the most. And then Westbrook, Bertans, and Rui Hachimura. I got him for the second most minutes on the Wizards team. And I think he might surprise some people here. On the bench here, I don't know that either. I don't know if I'm ready to gamble on Derrick Rose quickly Alec Burks did. I think they're all kind of priced to where 30 fantasy points on this side slate is kind of what I want. I don't know if that's their ceiling. I don't know that it's not. But I'm probably just sticking to Randle, Westbrook, and then some smaller reaches at Bertans, Hachimura. And I kind of have an idea for RJ Barrett, but I don't know if I'm going to act on that. Let's see what you guys got in the live chat before we move on to the next one. German says, Boogie hasn't been ejected in a while. He's overdue, yeah. Mopar says, hey, Gun, quick question. Have you developed any tics from gambling over the years? For instance, me, I like to bite my shirt around the neck out of nervousness. I know it sounds weird, but for reals, I haven't. I don't have any that I'm conscious of. Maybe I do something that I don't know about, but sweating. Sweating DFS or gambling. I don't live sweat like I used to. I used to really sweat DFS, and then the first quarter victory laps or the hole punching holes in the wall when your guy has 2 fouls or whatever. I don't know. Once you spray out 150 lineups, you just let whatever happens. You accept variance. You understand the math behind your plays pre-flop. But I don't think I have any ticks that I can think of. I don't know. When I die in Fortnite to someone I'm better than, I punch my desk. That's a tick. I don't do that in DFS, though. Rowan says, I'm liking Rui today. I like that. Mopar says, I played Alex Len twice this past month when he started. Dude only played 8 minutes in both games. I don't know if I can trust him. I do think against the Knicks, you have to play as big as you possibly can. So if there's a game for me to project Alex Len for 20-plus minutes, it would be this one. I'm not jamming him in. I'm not avoiding him. I don't even know that he'll make the player pool today, but we'll see. Desmond says, could we expect to see some vintage Derrick Rose today? So I think the matchup's prime for Derrick Rose. The pace should be up. The defense is bad. It wasn't like Derrick Rose is injured or anything like that. It's not like they had to ramp up his conditioning. It's just a matter of getting him acclimated to his teammates and getting introduced to the team. So in the last game, you got 20 minutes. Hey, 20 minutes at 5,300, you could chip and chair 30. If that pushes to 25 or something like that, I think eventually he has a case to be the starting point guard for the Knicks. Yeah, I mean, if you're a D-Rose truther, I don't think he'll get cheaper before getting more expensive. So maybe go after it. Desmond says, I don't know, seems high scoring because both defenses are so weak. On the Knicks, I don't think the Knicks defense necessarily as weak as the public perception, but I also think that their pace maybe covers some of that points per game allowed. I just really don't trust the Wizards' offense, man. I would be curious. Is that a stat-musable query? Let's see. Washington Wizards scores without Bradley Beal last 10 games. I don't know if that's even searchable. Washington Wizards scores, let's say, by game log without Bradley Beal last 10 games. I don't know if this is searchable. Maybe it is. So 96, if this is correct, 96 against Boston. I don't know if that's. Yeah, all right. Interesting. Stammies is fun. It's addicting. What up, Roland? Natty in the house? What's up, Natty? How you doing? It might be higher Randle. I think Randle on FanDuel is a killer play. I like that a lot. Let's move on to the next game here. Minnesota Timberwolves at the Charlotte Hornets. Project starting 5 for the T-Wolves. Ricky Rubio, Malik Beasley, Anthony Edwards, Josh Okogie, Karl Anthony Towns. The Big Cat, Ernie Ladd, taking on LaMelo Ball, Terry Rozier, Gordon Hayward, P.J. Washington, and Cody Zeller. We got a 228.5 total, a 3.5-point spread in favor of the Charlotte Hornets. The homie, Devonte Graham, still questionable. He is dealing with a left groin strain. He missed Charlotte's last 3 games due to the groin strain. And rookie LaMelo Ball has flourished in his absence. Being listed as questionable shows that Graham is at least making progress, but it's possible that he comes off the bench once he's cleared to play. That would be a negative for him when it comes to fantasy value. And that's a blurb from formerly Roto World, now NBC Sports Edge. So, I think LaMelo, first of all, two teams that play porous defense. The T-Wolves, 113.9 points per 100 possessions allowed. That's bad. The Charlotte Hornets, not necessarily a high pace offensive juggernaut, but I do think this matchup could produce a lot of fantasy goodness. I think on both sides, LaMelo Ball is performing at a level that the price point today is appropriate. I think I would like him a little bit more. Devonte Graham's out just to feel a little bit more solidified in 35-plus minutes. But nonetheless, he has literal triple-double potential here and can drop 50-plus. So he'll be in the pool. I'll probably introduce him as a Tier 3. And I'd be looking for Devonte Graham to be out. Gordon Hayward has another case here, 7'6", 7'3" on both sides. Probably just a name no one plays on a slate this big. Has 40, 50-point upside, I believe. And then on the T-Wolf side, Karl Anthony Towns, 10-1 on FanDuel, 9-3 on DraftKings. Returned to the lineup despite him trying to poo-poo on Shams on Twitter. Played 31 minutes in his return against the Los Angeles Clippers. So I'm not too worried about minutes restrictions or conditioning, anything like that. He was over a point per minute in that contest. And I love him today against the Charlotte Hornets. I love bigs against the Hornets. I love Cat's usage on this team. And I love it even more when we can pluck out a guy like D'Angelo Russell. So Cat, I think at 9.3, he's right down there with Russell Westbrook. I think he's a safer 50-plus than Westbrook, and I just love this spot all the way around. Cat's probably going to be a Tier 1 for me on DraftKings. I just don't really see a lot of scenarios where he's going to miss in this matchup, and this Hornets team is so undersized, and his usage is going to be so high. So Cat, early on, one of my favorite plays here. On the Hornets side, if Devonte did play, I would definitely take a step backwards on all of the guards. I might still be a buyer on Gordon Hayward. No matter what, I think we saw him play deep minutes when all three were active. But I'd probably take a little step back on exposure percentages to Melo, but I don't think I would ever get myself to no Melo today just because of that matchup. And I love the correlation running Cat versus Melo. So I'd gladly take a shot at that. I don't know that I'm getting to any of the T-Wolves not named Cat here. I do think there's just a high level of volatility projecting a 7+ K Malik Beasley to thrive at that price point. I think he could, but it's very volatile. Getting to that 6K range on Ricky Rubio, I don't know that I give myself a ceiling with that. Anthony Edwards, Josh Okogie, guys like that. I just don't feel the warm and fuzzy. So I'm just going to stick with Cat and move on a slate this big and not get overly creative and too saturated with some of the cuter plays of the slate, right? Let's see what you guys got in chat on this one before we matriculate on to the next one. W. German says, I trust the Wizards to stay in a game like I trust my ex-wife saying she's just going out with the girls. Pain. A Cat game. Yes, sir. We love Cat in this one. Pete says, I like Jaden McDaniels from the T-Wolves as some value. Cat and Beasley as well. Cat over Vooch today. I think that's fair. I think I would probably say that, not even put in context the Vooch's spot, but Cat's price, not on a back-to-back, the matchup, I like it a lot. I think this game is a great, I would say it's a stackable game, but I think the pieces that I'd pick for, having 3+ players, majority of them are going to come from the Charlotte Hornets side. That's it on that one. Let's keep it moving. So far, so good. Spurs at the Atlanta Hawks. Project starting five for the Spurs. Dejounte Murray, Derek White, DeMar DeRozan, Keldon Johnson, and Jakob Poeltl. Am I not Poeltl enough for the Poeltl Club? Poeltl up against Trey Young, Kevin Huerter, Cam Reddish Jr., John Collins, and Clint Capella. We got a 224.5 total, a 2-point spread in favor of the home team Atlanta Hawks. Trey Young has finally hit that 10K threshold, but it's well-deserved. He has been Mr. 50 points outside of 2 games, I believe, in the last 10. There was 41 against the Dallas Mavericks. Early foul trouble was still over a point per minute there. And that's it. Just 1 game in his last 10. He did not give you 50 fantasy points. So he has evolved into one of the safest 50 fantasy point projections on the slate, going against a San Antonio team that I think he can thrive just fine against. So if you like 50 points, you take 50 points. And Trey Young's in the pool no matter what. Past him, Kevin Huerter Herder at 5.3 on FanDuel seems a little bit more inviting than 6K on DraftKings. Either way, I got him second on the team, maybe third on the team in minutes, flirting with John Collins in that department. And then Danilo Gallinari had his minutes restriction lifted to 30. And at that point, at 4.1, 4.8, I still think he's worth a look. I like that 4.1 price point just a little bit more over on FanDuel. So if you're looking for some value, maybe put some Gallinari in your back pocket. Last game, 19 and 30 minutes against Dallas, but you're seeing games of 24, 18, 20 minutes where he was 24, 27. So obviously it's volatile because he can dud on you, but in deep field tournaments, I put him in my back pocket at 4.1K, and I think there's a range of outcomes for him to get there. And I got John Collins at 35 minutes at under 8K. I don't think a lot of people are going to go there on him. I probably don't go that route often, if at all, but I do have an increase in minutes versus what I've had in last couple games. On the Spurs side, Dejounte Murray, 7'5", 6'8", is a slate breaking potential guy. The range of outcomes very volatile, but there is a 40-plus fantasy point range of outcome. If you get there, you get there. DeRozan without Aldridge always has a chip in a chair. And then Jakob Poeltl, 5'4", 5'7". If you think 30-plus is there for him today, I think it's a range of outcome. Go for it. I think I can see myself getting to really no Spurs today. Derek White's in the mix just enough to maybe even make Murray and DeRozan even more volatile. And I might just stay away from the Spurs as big as this slate is. So if you guys had that feeling in your bad knee with the storm coming in on some of these Spurs, let me know. But otherwise, I could see myself not introducing these guys to the player pool. I keep it tight. Damian says, "Is Cat your favorite center on FanDuel today?" On FanDuel, I don't want to give you a definitive yes or no just yet. But he's certainly early on probably one of my favorite. He's probably my favorite center for raw points. And that's a great start to being my favorite overall center. Anyway, Rod said that he's ready. So let's bring Raj in here. Here. This is the part where you say yo yo and we laugh at you. Hello. Raj. Can you hear me? If you can, you're muted. If not, I got a show to do. Yeah, all right. I don't hear Raj. Loving John Collins in this one. I wonder if the Spurs DVP favors him. What do you got, Gun? DVP for John Collins? Sure, we'll look that up. In the Team DVP tab in the RunDFS.com NBA VIP spreadsheet, looking at San Antonio, they are giving up. They're red. They're still red, above average amounts of fantasy points per game to opposing power forwards. You can play some center if you get there. I think it's a solid matchup all the way around. I'm not really running from it. I think Collins, like I said, his minutes are creeping to where we want him to be. So if you land on some John Collins, you think he's a solid play at under 8K, go for it. 38, 34, 32, 40 minutes the last couple games. Might be some extra inning games in there, but, I mean, points per minute, double-digit shot attempts, he's thriving. So go for it. I definitely wouldn't push back on that one. I just don't know if I'm landing there pre-flop, but he's certainly in the brain, right? 20% Trey Young price. I agree with that. He starts as a tier 3 for me. We'll see if we move up or down on him. But for him to just keep on consistently giving you 50+, the bigger the slate, the more potential value there is, the easier it is to go studs and scrubs. And if you feel like that 50 from Trey Young is just super, super safe, super solid, go for it. I'm going to try Raj one more time.
Yo.
There we go.
There it is. Okay, we good to go.
Yeah. What's up, dude? I'm talking Hawks Spurs. About the wrap.
Hawks Spurs. All right, Hawks Spurs. You got DeMar DeRozan. I think it's going to be a good play today at the 8K price. 50-point upside here against the Hawks. Play no defense. Give me some of him. No Aldridge. I'm probably not going to get the DeJounte Murray. Just a price point at point guards, which is really strong today that I probably won't get to. I think there's upside there, but I'm just not going to get to him. And on the Atlanta side, Trey Young, like 20% guy. I mean, I think he could. The guy is going to be more popular. Like Lillard will probably be more popular than him. Westbrook is going to be. He can outscore them both. I think he's great in tournaments. And John Collins is not a fun clip, but he's been playing well, and he could have a big game here.
I concur. Let's move on to the next game. Dallas Mavericks hosting New Orleans Pelicans. Pelicans projected starting 5. Lonzo Ball, Eric Bledsoe, Brandon Ingram, Zion Williamson, and Stone Cold Steven Adams. It's going to get you one board. What? Whoa. Yo, you crushed a beer can while I did that? All right. That's synergy.
Let's go.
Mavericks project starting 5. Luka Doncic, Josh Richardson, Dorian Finney-Smith, Maxi Kleber, and Kristaps Porzingis. A 232 total 3-point spread in favor of the Dallas Mavericks. Very high total here for two teams playing at a average to low average pace, which kind of lights my eyes up. But the Pelicans and the Mavericks, for as medium to slow pace as they play, are two teams that play very bad defense. Dallas is bottom 5 in defensive efficiency, and Pelicans are not far behind, giving up 1/10 of a point less per 100 possessions than the Mavericks. So I definitely understand why both teams are involved in a game with such a high total. Because of that, who are the players from this game that's going to help get us to that 230 game total? Luka Doncic obviously in the forefront. Bigger the slate, the easier it is to access some of those 10, 11K guys. Got no quarrels with going to him. Kristaps Porzingis strikes me as someone that's perhaps a little too cheap on both sides. 8.2, 8.3. Per minute, he's been over a fantasy point per minute. Last game, he got into extreme foul trouble, 5 fouls in his 19 minutes played. But prior to that, I mean, there's 31 minutes against Minnesota. He dropped a 60 bomb. Golden State was a close game. Got 31 minutes in that, still over a point per minute. There was a blowout the game prior, and he hit value at this price point. I definitely will concede that he's a little bit volatile based on his end result game log. But I think in this spot, if he's gonna give me 35 or shot at 30 to 34 minutes, I think Porzingis is in the pool here, and I love him as my favorite number 2 behind Doncic if I'm selecting from the Mavs. I haven't really spun the wheel, make a deal on some of these supplementary Mavericks players, J. Rich, DFS, Kleber, Brunson, guys like that. I don't know that I land there today. I do have deep minutes put on J. Rich and DFS right now, but I don't really have in welcoming price points on them, so I'm not probably going to put him in the pool unless I really, really am down bad. On the Pelican side, Lonzo Ball is almost 7K on either side. I'll probably step back from that and just stick with the usual. Brandon Ingram, Zion Williamson. If I let DVP tell the story without a little bit of context, then I look at small forward DVP. Where's Dallas at against the Dallas has actually been decent against power forwards, or small forwards, but they have struggled against power forwards, getting up the 3rd most fantasy points per game to opposing power forwards. So again, DVP is very, very wild. Take it with context, but Zion Williamson is going to try and curtain call what John Collins was able to do, 48.5 fantasy points in 39 minutes last time out. I do think it's a plus spot for him. The Mavericks have been very, very bad at rebounding at a decent clip. I do think a lot of their poor rebounding games did coincide with Porzingis missing or Kleber missing. But I think, nonetheless, they have not proved to me that they can just be that elite rebounding force. So maybe a couple extra rebounds for Zion, who's already averaging 7 on the season. I think I like Zion more than Ingram here today, but I'm not going to tier 1 or 2. I'll probably just have a tier 3 level of Zion, and I feel like I'm not gonna have no Ingram, but I'm not head over heels in love with it. I just think they're too cheap at 8.6, 8, like at the 8K price point. I see 40 plus and a 230 total. So Luka, Porzingis, Ingram, Zion. And I don't think I'm dabbling with, the curious case of Josh Hart, 40 minutes because of foul trouble. But those are the 4 for me. You do anything special with this game?
I mean, Dallas past 5 games, they've had the highest combined score. Like, they've just been in shootouts, the highest shootouts of past 5 slates. So the team you want to target. I think you're kind of brushing over Lonzo Ball a little bit. That price tag, 6.7 on DK, not comfortable. Like that's the type of tournament guy who's flash 40 plus. I think he's going to touch a 50-point game eventually. So if he can get you at 6'7", 45, I just think you'll be way ahead in tournaments. So I actually like some Lonzo Ball. Gonna have some pieces of Zion Williamson and Ingram. I think Lonzo could be a tournament winner for you. And in Dallas, play Luka, play Porzingis, and I'm gonna stay away from the other kind of peripheral pieces.
Do you honestly get to like how many lines are you running to land on Lonzo? I don't think he's a bad play inherently, but
I think he just might be kind of just like a just the ownership pivot because I think point guard it's gonna like there's gonna be some guys just taking up all the ownership. So I might be a little higher on Lonzo even at like 20 lineups.
Just for fun, just for fun. The Dallas Mavericks are giving up a top 8 amount of points via the 3-ball per game. And Lonzo has been chucking 10, 6, 6, 9 field goal attempts from behind the arc. Obviously, if you guys watched him get drafted, his the biggest meme about him was just how bad his shooting form is. So the fact that he's out here chucking double-digit threes more than once in a season is somewhat comical. So, yeah, I guess the matchup is at least there for Lonzo. No warm and fuzzies, though. And then centers against the Mavs, man. It's been a thing. I just don't see myself ever clicking on Steven Adams on this slate, right?
That's I'm going to pass on that. 22 minutes the past 2 games. Who's taking his minutes? Hernan Gomez. Oh, yeah, he won a tournament a couple days ago. I think I'll play center. I'd probably play him over Steven Adams, like points per dollar.
Yeah, probably not. Desmond said, do you think Derek White affects Dejounte tonight? I definitely don't think it helps. Like that's why I'm not as strong on Spurs because I do think their guard wing rotation is very saturated, and everyone has a chance at just ruining everyone's ceiling. I wouldn't be shocked if I look up DeRozan has 40-50, but for the most part, like I do, there's a lot of guys that can pop off for fantasy and they could just take away from each other. So I'm not going to stress myself out trying to choose one. But yes, the answer is yes. I do think Derek White could impact Dejounte, but I also think he could impact DeRozan. Desmond says, going in Raj, do you think Luka has a good chance to get the most points on the slate tonight? Yes, always.
Yeah. I don't like New Orleans' pace. I mean, they are a little slower, but yeah, he's Luka Doncic, and he's Slate. He's up there.
Yeah. Switching over to my other screen name, Des. All right, lit. Be sure to hit that thumbs up on both screen names, bro. We out here legitimately getting thumbs up. What's up? There's Des. What up, Mike Lowry? What's up, Gunnathan? Okay.
Mike Lowry.
Lorenza likes Lonzo. Good call, Raj. We have to remember he's still on a showcase. Trying to get that trade, right? Or that release. So I was fishing for Vegas totals earlier, and I couldn't get one on the Celtics and Pistons. So let me look back and see if I missed it. And I got one now. Okay. So I got a 2-11 8-point spread, Boston. All right, next game on the docket, the Detroit Pistons at the Boston Celtics. We've got DeLon Wright, Wayne Ellington, Sadiq Bey, Jeremy Grant, Isaiah Stewart. Projected lineup if Blake Griffin is out for rest. It is night 2 of back-to-back. I think he's out. On the Celtics side, we know Kemba's out. And project starting 5 for them, Peyton Pritchard, Jaylen Brown, Semi Ojeleye, Jason Tatum, and Daniel Tyson. You talk about a team that I have no clue what the F to do with today. Or really a game. Semi Ojeleye was just got ridiculously hot.
No, what happened there? I don't know if you guys saw the game. I was watching the game with the Raptors. They were double teaming Jaylen Brown and Tatum every time, and they were leaving Ojeleye open. So they just passed the ball to him. That's why Jaylen Brown got those 10 assists. They were literally just like, all right, let's stop Jaylen Brown and Tatum. Kemba was doing trash anyway, and they just kept kicking the ball out. So he was shooting wide open threes, like no one was around him. So it was definitely fake.
It's definitely fake, but his price is at a really easy to get to, $3,500 on FanDuel, $3,100 on DraftKings. It was kind of a surprise start too, right? We knew Robert Williams was going to be out. Will they curtain call that? Did he earn his keeps here? Potentially. I could see a lot of people just kind of chasing what he did last night. At the same time, no Kemba. Shot volume could still be there. And when I mean volume, like, does he get 8 shot attempts? So I could see some people throwing me in the stocking stuffer. Obviously, if you got too trendy, I don't really want to be in on that. But yeah, he went really, really fake in the first half.
I think he's the highest owned guy on DraftKings.
I don't think that's a crazy projection.
Yeah, 3,100. He's gonna be like 50% owned.
Hell, you've been playing DFS for 3 years. My favorite story in DFS is chalk value Celtic player. It always fails.
At that ownership coming off of that big game, and I don't think Detroit's gonna use the same game plan as the Raptors. Usually it's an easy fade.
I mean, I would,
especially on a 10-game slate. I'm just going to take zero usually.
I would just hope that he didn't break the slate, right? 20 or less, I'd live with it, whatever. Yeah. Let's take an opportunity to use the on-off court tool from Fantasy Labs. Let's take off Kemba. Let's take off Marcus Smart words, Roads. And let's put Tatum and Jaylen Brown on. And on this season, we don't have a ton of sample size of both guys being out, but we do have a near 30% usage rate for both Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum, and points per minute is at 1.3, 1.2. So only 80 minutes of sample size. Relax just a little bit, but the Pistons defense, not great. Celtics already a sizable 8-point favorites. Even in a blowout, do we think there's a world where Brown and Tatum combine for 100+ fantasy points? I don't. I think so. I got 50 fantasy points put on Tatum's name right now, and I got 45 on Jaylen Brown's name, and they're both cheap enough to where I'd be fine with that as a return on investment. Past that, I think Peyton Pritchard's also going to pick up a lot of traction. I think Peyton Pritchard might be higher owned than Semi Ojeleye. All right, I think you might be a little too reactionary to what we saw last night. I think Pritchard without Kemba, without Marcus Smart, I have him planted at 28.5 fantasy points. He's under 4K.
I think people want to pay up for point guard more, though. It's a positional thing.
I think that's fair, but center's still stacked, so I don't know that I'm getting...
I'm going to play small forward, power forward on DraftKings, so you have that positional eligibility there.
Mm-hmm.
And on FanDuel, he's small forward, I think. Yeah, so I mean, I think point guard just people want to lock in Westbrook, and they probably want to get a Luka, Trey Young, a Lillard. So
maybe. There's so many ways to go. And I also think highest own, what does that mean on an 11-game Friday night slate? Like, we're not talking 70%, or we're talking...
Westbrook's projected ownership is 48%. That's nuts on an 11-game slate.
That's actually kind of wild. I get it, but that's actually kind of wild.
Yeah.
Oof. So yeah, I think Peyton Pritchard picks up some steam as well. I don't think I ever dabble with the T. Carson Edwards sweepstakes. Is what it is on those two. But give me Tatum, give me Brown. On the Pistons side, if we got Blake Griffin out, I'm pretty sure he is. Mason Plumlee's going to be out again. Isaiah Stewart projects as another great value opportunity. It's not necessarily the matchup of the century, but the price and the minutes for what his role is, right? You go out there and get peripherals. Go catch a couple of balls off the glass and get to 20-plus fantasy points, and you serve a purpose. And even yesterday, we saw that he can go above and beyond that, dropping 33 fantasy points in 31 minutes against the Pacers. I think the Pacers are a much softer matchup, but I would at least be encouraged that he took 9 shot attempts, very low, high percentage, low risk shot attempts, 8 of 9 of those attempts, and he was getting enough peripherals to boot. So at 3,100, Isaiah Stewart, I feel like I'd rather have him over Ojeleye and Peyton Pritchard in practice.
Yeah.
I'm still not like running to give up my center spot, but I think we can make it happen. We can just play balanced lineups and just kind of make it work out accordingly. Jeremy Grant's the next guy I kind of want to talk about. 8,200 on FanDuel, 7,500 on DraftKings. I mean, this is his team. The usage will be on him. Matchup isn't great, but I got him leading the team in minutes, leading the team in usage. Could he get me 40-plus fantasy points at 7,500? Definitely think it's a range of outcome. I think my question here is, can I get 50-plus from him? If the answer is no, I probably stay away because I do think the matchup at least is a little bit more volatile and risky to where if you got 40 or less, I'm staying away. Like I definitely want 40s from almost everybody tonight, and I need even more. So I'm curious, chat, you guys, what are you guys doing with Jeremy Grant? Raj, what are you doing with Jeremy Grant today? No Blake, no Derrick Rose. All the minutes his heart likely can handle.
Yeah, all the minutes, all the usage. He shot poorly yesterday, still took 17 shots. I want to play him. I just don't know how much I'll get to him. 7,500. He hasn't been consistent, but we know the upside's there. We've seen it. Yeah, yeah. You know what? I'm going to have to play him. No Blake Griffin. He sees Tatum defense though. That's kind of
for the record. I don't think Blake's been officially rolled out, but we all
he hasn't. No, he hasn't. We also assume, yeah. Hey, maybe Blake plays just to avoid Jeremy Grant, which is fine. But I'll probably have him if Blake Griffin doesn't play. DeLon Wright get a 6K tough cliff with point guard, but again with no Blake Griffin, Rose is traded. No Mason Plumlee does have some playmaking duties. Like he's a guy who can rack up assists. So without him, I think the ball is in DeLon Wright's hand a little more to play make. So I think he can get there at 6K. So Wright, Jeremy Grant, and I like Stewart as a value. I just prefer bigs as value because they'll fall into peripheral. They'll fall into a few rebounds. Originally shot like 8 for 12 from 3. Don't expect that again. So give me Stewart over him any day. Pretty heavy on these Pistons. And a Boston side.
You're heavy on the Pistons?
I think so, yeah. I mean, again, no Plumlee, no Blake Griffin. Rose is gone. I just think like DeLon Wright and Jeremy Grant both are going to see 25% and above usage. I think the third guy might be Josh Jackson in this lineup.
Yeah, so Josh Jackson actually leads the team in usage, just taking off Blake, Rose, Okafor, Hayes, Mason Plumlee. But that's at 28%. So Jeremy Grant's at 27%. It's just really a matter of minutes. It's a matter of does Dennis Smith Jr. become somebody that evolves minute-wise. No one's really killing me on points per minute. It's only 100 to 150 minutes of sample size with this with these 5 guys off. So no one's actually destroying it. And the Celtics are not really a matchup I'm running to. I get it. There's no Marcus Smart. There's no Kemba. Maybe the defense isn't what it is. And it seems like the Pistons are always finding themselves in games where they're just like against the Lakers or like aren't they the team they beat the Nets, they beat the Lakers, like they have wins over the dumbest teams. So when you want to count them out, you want to write them off as a G League scrub squad, they tend to just go out there and hang in there. So I don't want to just eliminate them, but I don't. You sound like you were going to be heavy on them. Would it be DeLon Wright, Jeremy Grant, Isaiah Stewart?
I actually don't mind that full stack. Like I could just see all those guys getting there and smashing. I know it's not the best matchup. It's just I just see so much upside. Like if Jeremy Grant gets you 45, 50, DeLon Wright gets you I think like low 40s, Isaiah Stewart gets you 30. Like you could win something.
All right, what are you doing, Peyton Pritchard?
Again, point guard, tough. I prefer Stewart as a value, but I think you got to have him in the pool. I mean, playing with Jaylen Brown, how many minutes did he overlap with Brown and Tatum yesterday?
Who, Pritchard?
Yeah.
Sure, I'll pull that up.
Shut that up. Because, I mean, like, playing with those two, I think the ball might be in Jaylen Brown's hands more to kind of play make.
I mean, I wholeheartedly agree with that. Pritchard overlapped in the first quarter with everyone, even overlapped with Kemba in the first quarter. Overlapped with everyone in the second quarter, and then so I think he's definitely been on the court with them. He's not doing a whole lot of anything. He did get 8 points in the first quarter, a couple threes and some free throws. I just feel like every time some obscene chalk guard from the Celtics rises every slate. And they just fly. Like the Brad Wanamaker days or the Jeff Teague days from earlier this season. It's just like every time you stay away, and for the most part, you could probably be okay knowing that 20 or less from them. I got him at 22 fantasy points. Like if you thought that was fine, take it. If you thought you want to just get a little different, thinking if that's a 40% owned 20, I'll take a 40%.
Jeff Teague is out of the rotation. Like he seems like he's fully out of the rotation. Not playing well, so that could be a little bit of a bump. How many minutes you give him? 30? 32?
I have him at 28, and last night, yeah. Maybe.
I'm just going to play Jaylen Brown as my highest owned Boston guy, and Tatum at his price. I'll have some, but I'll have more Brown. I think he has a lot of upside at 7-8.
Brown and Tatum for me. I don't know if I'm floating elsewhere. We'll see. If Daniel Tice dropped 30, I'm not stunned. I'm not stunned. Dad says, I wonder why Tice only gets 27, 28 minutes. They do have, Grant Williams, Tristan Thompson. They have enough to kind of be spread out, so I don't think that's like an issue for them. DSA played yesterday. Yup. What's up, Shane Alexander? What's up, Jaylen Brown or Grant on FanDuel? I think Jaylen Brown's the safer, just a safer option no matter what. But the thought of Jeremy Grant isn't a bad thought. I think the minutes, the usage, all that stuff will be there. But Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum have a way higher floor and probably the same ceiling, if not greater, than Jeremy Grant. So I can't really see a world where in a 1v1 I go Grant over Brown. Let's move on to the next game here. Chicago Bulls hosting the Los Angeles Clippers. Clippers project starting 5. Patrick Beverley, Reggie Jackson, Kawhi Leonard, Nick Batum, Serge Ibaka taking on Kobe White, Zach LaVine, Denzel Valentine, Patrick Williams, and Daniel Gafford. We got a 227.5 total, 7.5 point spread in favor of the visiting LA Clippers. I said it last slate. Kawhi Leonard without Paul George is a lock. He just will give you 50. There was one game where he didn't, but we'll pull it up for aesthetic purposes. Kawhi Leonard, DKP by game log without Paul George. Let's go last 10 games. And in the last 10 games of sample size, we have one game, Raj, where Kawhi got you less than 54 DraftKings fantasy points. And today he's going against one of the fastest-paced, poorest defensive teams in basketball. No reason for me at 9,500 to stay away. And I'll say this. It sounds like, from what you just said, Russell Westbrook could be higher owned than Kawhi Leonard. And Leonard might be safer. And I mean that because the Knicks are the slowest team in basketball. And I don't trust the Wizards to keep a game competitive without the 30 real points of Bradley Beal in the mix. So Kawhi, I know this game could blow out, but nonetheless, like even if it did, I feel like Kawhi had his hand in the mix. So is Kawhi over Westbrook in a util spot the absolute sharp play for leverage sakes in tournaments tonight?
I mean, I don't think it's Kawhi. I think there's a couple other guys you could take. I don't know if it's Kawhi. I mean, I like Kawhi again. No Paul George. 10K on FanDuel. Steep price. Definitely a very steep price. I mean, what's his upside like 50?
Who?
Kawhi Leonard. Like, how many times does it really go higher than 50?
His last game, he almost got 60. 51 is the floor outside of this 36 against Sacramento. And there's 56, there's 59, there's 64, 70. Like, they're upside 72 in the last 10 games of sample size.
I mean, he's going to be. I know, yeah, it is.
It's the Chicago Bulls.
It is the Bulls. I kind of respect Zach LaVine to keep it close too. So I mean, give me some Kawhi. I just don't know how much I'll get to because of the price. Like, there's just a couple other guys I want to play.
I mean, if you're backed in a corner right now and you had to choose between Russell Westbrook and Kawhi Leonard in your util spot, you're easily going Westbrook.
Util spot.
I feel like for people, the heart wants what the heart wants, but I think Kawhi might be the better play.
Yeah, and I mean, I want to say on FanDuel, the price disparity is pretty big. On DraftKings, it's a little closer. So on DraftKings, no, I think I'll go Kawhi Leonard for sure.
Okay. And another guy I'm digging here, if you guys have been watching the show for years, I love Serge Ibaka in fast-paced matchups. And this is one of those opportunities where I think Ibaka at 5'7", 5'5", could fill a role in a forward spot. He is only center on DraftKings, but on FanDuel, I think he might still be a power forward, and he is. So at 5'7", I've been digging Ibaka over the last couple of years in pace-up matchups. I think he produces at a high rate. I don't love his minutes here. I don't feel like his minutes are super safe. There's several just 20 minutes, so it would be a tier 3 at best play. But I do think he can be extremely efficient for fantasy production. So I'll be having an ample amount of Ibaka. If you wanted to play that same hunch, maybe a guy like Ivica Zubac or somebody like that bleeds through. Definitely seems like another Clipper other than Kawhi would be a solid play in this spot. Looking at my projections here, outside of Kawhi, I don't have anyone projected over 25 fantasy points, so there's nothing, no reason for me to push the issue on that. You guys mentioned Zach LaVine and Kobe White in chat. Somebody in chat, I think it said, Pete says he loves LaVine over Westbrook. I think the minutes for LaVine are guaranteed, and we've talked about how Zach LaVine has performed without Lauri Markkanen in the lineup, and I've got 37 minutes on him. So if he's going to run that type of usage and continue to produce at a tick, I think that last game was fake, right? Him and Kobe White were just breaking 3-point records. But I could see it. Over Westbrook? Zach LaVine by game log. DKB by game without Laurie, Markkinen. Let's go last 10 games on this one. Last 10 games without Laurie, Markkinen. LaVine's gotten you 45 or greater in all but 3. And I think at 9K, I want a little bit higher floor. I don't love the matchup against the Clippers, although he did in January of this year drop 67.
That's a tournament play.
42 minutes.
Zach LaVine's the ultimate tournament play today, I think.
Definitely. Like, I agree with that. LaVine, I just think is a volatile tournament play. Like, the floor isn't what we want it to be at 9K, but if we're just chasing ceiling and ranges and outcomes, yes, LaVine could be a 50 to 60 fantasy point guy. I'm not, no warm and fuzzies there. Maybe tier 3. I don't know. I don't think I love him over Westbrook, Pete. I
know it's tough to get to him, but I just think again, like you've seen, he can get hot. I don't think this Clippers defense is as strong, obviously, without Paul George. I can see a back and forth between LaVine and Kawhi Leonard going down.
Kobe White, 5,600 on FanDuel, 6,300 on DraftKings. He joined LaVine in one of the most anomalic backcourt performances of all time. Both of them chucking threes. I think there's a puncher's chance tournament shot on Kobe White at 5,600 on FanDuel. Hard to just surrender that guard spot, but certainly somebody that can get there. I got him projected almost at 5x, 6x value, so sure, I'd be a buyer in that. Thad Young's price is declining, 65 seats, 400. Being a center on FanDuel has kind of like taken me away from the Thad Young sweepstakes, but certainly somebody that could still give me a shot at 30-plus fantasy points. And then Reggie Jackson started with Patrick Beverley last game. It'd be interesting to see if that's how the Clippers go and run it back here. Luke Kennard and Lou Williams, ancillary plays off the bench. We've seen a couple of Lou Williams games lately where he was a solid addition to fantasy rosters. But for the most part, I think I'm going to try and keep tonight's player pool as tight as possible. And I'm going to take out some of the super volatile plays. And I think, on the season, Lou Williams' campaign has been very volatile at this price point. So I'm just running Kawhi, a little Ibaka, and I'm going to meditate on LaVine. I want to play it. I want to justify it. But I got to keep it tight. So I'm going to meditate on LaVine.
You have guys like Donovan Mitchell and Chris Middleton that's going to play too. He's tough click, but I just think he's a great tournament play with the upside.
Let's move on to the next game here. Denver Nuggets hosting the Oklahoma City Thunder. Project starting 5 for the Thunder. Ham Diallo, Lou Dort, Kenrich Williams, Darius Baisley, and Al Horford. Taking on Jamal Murray, Will Barton, Michael Porter Jr., Paul Millsap, and Nikola Jokic. We got a 2-2-2 and another 1-2 as our total. 12-point spread in favor of the Denver Nuggets. Oh, the Thunder, man. This is one of those teams where I was hoping the sites would just price them to oblivion, and I just don't have to worry about it. But they didn't do it with everyone. Isaiah Roby was the surprise scratch, as it was reported during that last slate against the Lakers. If you guys were members of the RunDFS.com VIP Discord, though, you weren't that surprised. I kind of kept it in the loop. If he's out again today, equals deep minutes for the centers again. Baisley, Horford, Muscala. I really don't want to play Thunder. It's just not fun to play Thunder. But
Al Horford could break the slate at his price.
I agree, but it's just not fun. It's not fun. Dang it! I don't want to play Al Horford.
I don't know if Denver blows this team out. Like if this game stays close, Al Horford is 100% on the winning lineup. No question about it. I think even like guy like Diallo at 7K. I mean, there's no way you want to click on that price.
I'm not doing it. I'm not effing doing it.
Coming out back-to-back 40 bombs, man. Like if you want to. There's a world.
Put some overtime in the game log, right?
There's overtime. That's true. There's overtime in there. But I want to say, is the Lakers? Yeah, Lakers guard defense better than Denver's guard defense. I think it's a bit better matchup. I think Horford and Diallo could combine for 80, 90 points together, and again, at their ownership, which I think is like sub 10%, and maybe sub 5 at Diallo's case, you can make some ground on the field there and really kind of differentiate your lineup.
Oh, I don't want to play Diallo and
this is the type of play that wins you 100K. This is the type of play that wins you 100K. So I think they're so interesting. Kenrich, I think with Roby, he's still questionable. Muscala's there, but he's playing. I probably don't go back to Kenrich Williams at 5-1. He shot 11 for 14 that last game at overtime. Probably not going to chase that. But OKC guys, give me that. And Denver, I think Jokic is a name that people aren't really going to click here. And he could get there in 3 quarters. Or if they play a full game, he could smash. So at 10-7, I think you want some of him. Jamal Murray, 6'8", probably not getting to Jamal Murray. Michael Porter is interesting, 6K. Yeah. He's starting now, played minutes. So Porter and Jokic on Denver, and Diallo and Horford for OKC for me.
Where do you think Nikola Jokic lands in the ownership?
Oh, sub 10%.
You think so?
Yeah, this massive of a slate. Everyone's paying up for guards. I think Stewart's going to take up a center spot on DK at least. DraftKings, you play one center. I mean, on FanDuel, you can only play one center. I think he's sub 10% easy. Probably a 7-8%er.
When I say I don't want to play Al Horford today, I mean, I don't want to play Al Horford today.
I don't want to play him either, but like at his price, he might have like the biggest upside of his price. Like this, what's another 6K guy who's going to get you who has 50-point upside? You know what I mean? Like obviously the games he got the 50, it was like Minnesota, easier matchup. I mean, what is Denver against? Denver's the best team against centers.
They're good.
Okay, I mean, I'll put some. How are they the best team against centers? Like Jokic is not necessarily an elite defender by any means, or they're second best team against centers next to Philly.
I mean, I can tell you the last 5 centers against them if that's what you're trying to pull from.
Bring up those. Yeah.
Last 5 centers against Denver. Andre Drummond, 13 fantasy points in 17 minutes. Brook Lopez, Rashawn Holmes dropped 40 in 31 minutes. Marc Gasol, Rudy Gobert, 25 in 26 minutes. There's been a lot of lopsided games, but yeah, I don't know. Horford will facilitate, so it is what it is.
He will.
If Isaiah Roby's able to play, he more than likely would start. So maybe don't play Isaiah Roby unless he's starting, and even then, I don't know that I'm pushing it at 5K. If he didn't play, Muscala's a chip in a chair for value. And then, like you said, MPJ and Will Barton. I think MPJ's the really fun one here in matchups where I don't think he gets benched for his poor defense. I think he could show up. And that's kind of what I thought against the Cavs, and it was fine. See what you guys got in the live chat before we move on. Brandon Tanner says Diallo, 40-plus points, easy. Damien says, I'm hyped.
The top clicks.
The boogie haters are silent now. It feels great.
I mean, he was okay last night. He wasn't like the nuts, but okay.
He wasn't the nuts, but he outperformed his salary, so at least on FanDuel. Murray's defense this week. Horford will only play 30 minutes. Rowan says thoughts on Garrison Matthews minutes. That's a name. So Garrison Matthews, Jerome Robinson, Raul Neto, Ish Smith. They could do a lot of weird stuff, man. I'm probably staying away, but I think Matthews is a better scorer than the world knows, right? So, but I don't know that I'd put minutes on him to act on that. Pete says MPJ Joker, and I like RJ Hampton for value. The game is in the altitude. Only OKC guy for me is Horford because of the price, but just that 10% exposure. I think that's fair. I want to find every reason not to play the Thunder today and hope for the best. Next game on the docket, Milwaukee Bucks at the Utah Jazz. Potential finals preview. How boring would this be for the ratings? But I think it's like that sentence isn't completely unplausible. Project starting five for the Bucks, though: Dante DiVincenzo, Bryn Forbes, Chris Middleton, Giannis Antetokounmpo, Brook Lopez, taking on Donovan Mitchell, Joe Ingles, Bojan Bogdanovic, Royce O'Neal, and Rudy Gobert. We got a 233.5 total, 2.5 point spread in favor of the Utah Jazz. Both teams without their starting point guard, Mike Conley, Drew Holiday, sitting this one out. And that's created bumps for both teams. And I think this will be an excellent chance for me to also talk about some prize picks plays that I like today. So, first of all, let's talk about the matchup just in general. And let's talk about why Chris Middleton is 8K, because I think that price is a little too cheap. Let's go to the Milwaukee Bucks. Milwaukee Bucks on-off court tool. Actually, because I do want to tie in prize picks today, I think it's a great chance for me to do that, and I want to get you guys on the same board as me. So let me stop for just a second, and we'll do the reminder one more time. Main display off prize picks. So chat, if you guys are watching and you weren't here at the beginning of the stream or weren't here yesterday, prize picks and I have partnered to get you guys $100 up to $100 deposit bonus. You don't have to deposit on it. You can deposit $20. They'll match your $20 instantly, not slow drip, nothing like that. All you got to do is use code GUNDACKER when you sign up. So prizepicks.com, the app is easy to use as well. And what this site does is it allows you to parlay player props from fantasy points, from points, rebounds, assists, and you can 4x, you can 10x your picks and stuff like that. And I'll use this game as a great reference for us to go make some picks over there on Prize Picks. So go to prizepicks.com, make yourself an account, use code GUNDACKER when you sign up, and you can get up to $100 instantly matched on your first deposit. And yeah, so let's do that. And then I'm going to pull up Prize Picks. And if you guys want to play a little Prize Picks with me tonight, I'm going to talk about some of my favorite plays on the slate for them, because I think some of those picks are coming from this game. So, first of all, let's go back to that on-off court tool, and I'm going to go to the Milwaukee Bucks. And just in general, I want you guys to see my first favorite pick, Chris Middleton on the season with nothing to do, with nothing done to the on-off court tool. He has a 24.1% usage rate with a 26.3 assist rate. And on the season, Middleton's averaging 6.2 assists per game just straight up. So when I go and take the starting point guard off of the slate, Drew Holiday, if I take him off of the court, Middleton's assist rate went from 25% to 35%. So it's a 10% increase. So he's already averaging a 6.2 assists per game. Well, if I go to Prize Picks and if I go to just even the Vegas books, Chris Middleton this morning was listed at 6.5 assists. Let me see if I can find him today. Middleton. Right here. He's at 6.5 assists. Last two games without Drew Holiday, he's had 10 plus assists, right? He's at 11 and 12. So I feel like 6.5, the over on it is a pretty sharp bet. So add that to the list if you're playing on Prize Picks tonight. I like Chris Middleton over 6.5 assists. And with that said, going back to the world of DraftKings, Chris Middleton, DKP by game log. I don't even need to do this. Chris Middleton at 8K is too cheap, is he not?
And like his points prop. Like, I mean, he had 45 DKP with Giannis having a career scoring night. You know what I mean? So Middleton, most nights without Drew, he's going to get you 25 plus points, 10 plus assists. You just lock him in. He's probably my favorite play on the slate with another guy in this game, Donovan Mitchell. Donovan Mitchell, Chris Middleton will be two of my highest owned guys. Play Giannis too. Relatively simple. You know, he's Giannis. Could be the highest scorer on the slate, especially with no Drew. I think this game's going to be a shootout. Just two good teams. When two good teams go at it, I think that definitely tends to lead with a little bit more offense. I think on FanDuel, Jordan Clarkson's going to be chalk. Incredibly chalk. He's incredible. Probably 1,000 too cheap there. Again, no Mike Conley. Bit of a bump there for him. pace-up spot against Milwaukee. So I think Clarkson is probably tier 1 on FanDuel. And I guess even like a guy like Rudy Gobert at 7,500, I think he could be a safe 40. So if he falls into that, I don't hate it. Joe Ingles has been starting for Mike Conley. He's definitely got a price bump, but he's been playing well. Again, in the spot, I can see him getting you mid-30s, which is fine. I mean, this Utah seed, I don't mind. I don't want to gate Royce O'Neal. Probably not going to play, but he's playing 37 minutes, 38 minutes. Like, this is a team that you can get a lot of guys. This is a game you want to target.
On that same thought, though, for what we did on Middleton, Donovan Mitchell averaging 5.1 assists per game this season. On the season, Mitchell offers a 25% assist rate, 769 minutes of sample size just in general. When I go take Mike Conley off the court, that 25% assist rate for Mitchell jumps to almost 31%. So
Point guard Mitchell.
Mitchell's at 5.5. So give me the over on Mitchell, right? Like, just mathematically, I can support both of those. And then if I look at maybe we pull up a stat muse on Mitchell without Donovan Mitchell. DKP by game log without Mike Conley last 10 games. The magic number's 5.5, so we're looking for 6+ assists. How often does he hit it? Without Conley, 9, 11, 8, 7 in his last 5 games. So it seems like I would take the over on 5.5 as well for Donovan Mitchell assist prop. And you can use that on sportsbooks, but you can definitely use it here on Prize Picks as well. Make sure you use code GUNDACKER when you sign up to get that instant deposit bonus. Mitchell versus Middleton. I love that in construction. And then it seems like every slate, Giannis Antetokounmpo is just the highest scoring player just on the slate.
Safe, yeah.
And I mean, I get it. That's his price. He's got to do it. But yeah, another spot for me to like him here. Utah Jazz are one of the best teams in basketball, and not a lot of people really giving them that type of credit, but they're getting it done, and they're especially getting it done at home. So I trust this game to be competitive, and the Jazz are actually favored here by 2.5. So the Bucks are going to have to show up and show out. And yeah, give me Middleton, Giannis versus Mitchell. Clarkson, like you said on FanDuel, a little bit too cheap. I love high-pace spots for Clarkson. And this is a Bucks team that does give up a lot of points for the 3 ball, and I think Clarkson could thrive in that regard. I also think Joe Ingles, Bojan Bogdanovic would probably need to shoot and probably land some of those 3. Like, could this be a 8+ 3-point attempt game from him? Remember, the Utah Jazz secretly shoot the most threes in basketball. So I think this game is gonna be fun, more fun than a lot of people might think. Let's see what you guys got a live chat before we move on. Dad says gun signing endorsement deals now. Next up is the Bang partnership. Man, I definitely did look into a influencer affiliate deal with Bang, but their affiliate, right?
They want gut to get abs. They want gut to get abs, is what he's trying to say. They want gun with the 26-inch biceps.
So they have a website, right, for Bang influencers. And I think I can pull it up on the stream. I don't know if it'll load. But essentially, when I pull up this site and I look at what they're looking for influencers, that's not me. This is like a half naked chick, and then it's like dudes with 10 packs for crying out loud. I'm like, yeah, maybe I'm not their market on that one, right? But
I do think they might switch up. Like, that market is pretty saturated right now. There's a lot, so I would focus on the gaming market for energy drink, because the fitness energy drink market is a lot.
Yeah. And the gaming industry, just fatso sitting at their desk looking for no sugar.
And I feel like in the gaming industry, it's just like Red Bull prominently, and that's about. I don't really see Monster energy drinks focusing on games.
I can't pull out the emails on stream, but there is an energy company that did reach out to me, but. Ooh. I don't want to push stuff I don't use. That's the only reason why.
Sure.
Like, Prize Picks isn't the first company to want to partner, but they're the first company that I like their product and I play on it. I've turned down several. I can't push an energy drink that I don't drink. Russ, what up, Russ? Gun, the roster construction leverage tonight with Isaiah Stewart and Peyton Pritchard being highly owned and higher dollar is to play Donovan Mitchell and Chris Middleton at point guard, shooting guard, and leverage the Westbrook builds. I agree. I think the value on Mitchell and Middleton's price points is definitely something to be said there and something to take advantage of there. Russ says the shooting guard position is really weak on this slate, and thinking about the overall roster construction that way on this slate feels like it could be an extremely unique build. I like it. I really like it. Usually these big 11-game slates, I don't like. I like this slate because there's so many different ways. I can go studs and scrubs. I can go mid-tier. I can give leverage, right? I think Kawhi over Westbrook could be just the better play. Like, there's so many ways I can practice and apply game theory and just historical leverage techniques that we've picked up. So I do like the slate. Hopefully nothing happens between now and lock.
I mean, Kawhi and Giannis are closer in price. So you play Giannis, right?
They're not that close.
I mean, they're 800 difference on. Oh, yeah,
maybe on FanDuel, but on DraftKings it's like $1,000 swing, right?
Oh, okay, yeah, never mind. I'm looking at different pricing.
Yeah. Dad says, Gunn, do you think it's safe to play Donovan over Zach? I think Donovan Mitchell is way safer than Zach LaVine. Yes. So my answer is yes.
Mitchell's definitely safer.
Mopar says, I'd rather play Canner over Horford. Denver game is over by halftime. OKC had their good games without AD, and now the Lakers, now it's time to get real. Maybe, I mean, teams like to play down against teams, right? If you're sitting in the locker room, Denver, you're looking at this OKC roster. You might write them off before you even play. Yeah. Let's move on to the next game. Lakers hosting the Memphis Grizzlies. Projects 45 for the Grizzlies. John Morant, Dylan Brooks, Grayson Allen, Kyle, the Andersons got tickets to the game. How'd they get tickets? Jonas Valanciunas taking on Dennis Schroeder, Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, LeBron James, Anthony Davis, and Mark Gasol. This game has a 7-point spread to 219.5 total. LeBron James is 36, Raj. He's 36.
Goat James.
My man has had, 3 games in a row now of just overtime. no AD. Oh, man, he's exhausted, bro. He's effing exhausted. 40-plus minutes in 3 straight against the bummiest of bum teams, right? The Pistons, the OKC G League team, and having to go to extra innings, 12 rounds. 10.1 for him. You would like to believe that maybe this game doesn't go to OT, but man, the Grizzlies on paper better than the preceding 2 teams, right? AD's the news to watch here. He's questionable. LeBron's probable. LeBron trying. I feel like LeBron's secretly trying to play every game for an MVP campaign in his 32nd year in the league. On the Grizzlies side, John Morant, 7.1K. I don't think anyone's getting there, right? This would be the game where he shocks us, but I'm not getting there. I don't really see myself getting to anyone. I saw some intrigue in Jonas Valanciunas. I think I can write that up. I don't think I get to any Grizzlies today, and just hoping that doesn't come back to wreck me. They do have a lot of people out. Desmond Bane, who had been drawing some starts, out here, still without Jaren Jackson, Brandon Clark, D'Anthony Melton, guys like that. So if you maybe did plan for a blowout, maybe you get some garbage glory out of Gorgie Zhang or Xavier Tillman, but you really can't do that like on this side slate.
Seems like the John Moran eruption spot, like the 50-point game is here against the Lakers.
I feel that. I do feel that.
Yeah.
But I'm not playing it. I'm a
Yeah, I probably need like 150 lines. I probably need like 100 lines to get to him. 7-1 on DK is such a cheap price tag for him. I think he should play 35 minutes here. Oh, I want to play him. We'll see how much I'll get to him. I mean, J-Val, 28, 34 minutes past couple games. I think he's interesting in tournaments too. Like the minutes are there, it seems like. Because anytime J-Val plays 30-plus minutes, does the matchup even matter?
If AD's in it, I think it does.
Yeah, if AD's in, okay, yeah, then I'll probably fade this game or fade J-Val for her. But if AD doesn't play,
if AD is in, he's 9,200 on DraftKings, by the way, under 10K on FanDuel. I don't know if he's like one of these days he's gonna still be at 9K, and people will still expect him to be out, and he's just gonna show up and play and drop a smooth 60.
Yeah. No, I mean, if AD's out, how much LeBron though?
I may not get to any, if I'm being honest. Like I'm
playing LeBron over Kawhi probably.
You're playing LeBron over Kawhi?
And Kawhi's playing Chicago.
Kawhi's just been a free 50, and he's cheaper.
I mean, it's definitely a little cheaper.
Yeah, I don't think LeBron's a bad play inherently, no matter what. And then if AD was out, it gets way better. But they got to be looking for minutes to take from him, man. You got to get this man off his feet. And then Kawhi without Paul George has just been historically a 50-plus fantasy point blow up. And it's the Chicago Bulls. The pace is not. I can't. I'm not doing that.
Yeah, I hear you.
You hear me, but are you listening?
Maybe I never want to cross off a Lakers game, but
yes, you do. What? I always want to cross off.
No, they're a good defense.
Until this game goes to double overtime, John Moran has 60.
Yeah, John Moran's the one guy that's intriguing. I'll say that he's the one name that's very intriguing.
I've been at the slot machine. We're losing guards left and right. I got 33 minutes on Ja, point per minute production, but I think I'm bowing out on that one and hope for the best. Chat, what are you doing here? Des said I could see Kyle Anderson having an all-around game tonight. He's 5'7", 6K. Probably need 35 plus to feel like I needed him. Not even needed him, but no, I wanted him. I don't disagree with the thought that he could have an all-around game, but I don't think I might have Grizzlies. I don't think I might just full fade this game, hopefully. Pete says, I have played Ja every slate he's been on. I'm stepping away from the Ja slot machine, but I'll be back. I'm telling you, man, we're going to the bathroom. We're looking back. Some old ladies, I'll play Ja Morant. And then 70 fantasy points against the Los Angeles Lakers. Yep. What the and then you're like, hey, lady, those are mine. Give me those coins. God dang it. Nivro says Chris Middleton over 6.5 assists. For me, yes. And then the same with Donovan Mitchell over 5.5. I like those two quite a bit. Next game on the docket, Cavaliers at the Portland Trailblazers. Project starting 5 for the Cavs: Darius Garland, Colin Sexton, Isaac Okoro, Jarrett Allen, Andre the Giant Drummond taking on Damian Lillard, Gary Trent Jr., Derek Jones Jr., Robert Covington, and they hate us because they ain't us. Cantor. We got a 221.5 total, 3.5 point spread in favor of the Portland Trailblazers. This slate is so fun. Every game just seems fun. Blazers, give me Dame Dollar under 10K all day, every day. Yes, sir. 9.5 on FanDuel. Give me some of that. Enes Kanter under 7K on both sides. Do you see my boy got cut last night? Did you see that?
Yeah, I see that. He just came back in, though.
He came back. Chat. Look at the homie. Where's Frank Mason? Where you at, buddy? You see this? Be this.
Yeah, that's what you
Gosh
want.
dang it. Shout out to Canada for finishing that game. Looks like he's due to play this game as well. Cavs are going to run one of the slowest paces in the league here, but their defense enough to take advantage of. Portland Trailblazers looking to defend the home court. Night 2 of a back-to-back, but Damian Lillard, I think, is a great shot at a late-night hammer 50 bomb to keep you climbing. And Cantor's in the mix as well for me. Carmelo Anthony last night. What a fun story that was. You catch some of that?
I definitely did not catch any of that.
Season high 24 real point shot, 4 for 5 from 3, 15 shot attempts, 60% success rate, 28 total fantasy points. But chipping a chair for 30 plus. I think I wouldn't go crazy with Carmelo, but last night was encouraging if you're a Melo Truth or Gary Trent in the mix as well. But give me Lillard, Cantor as perhaps tier 2 starters, and then I would maybe put a 3 on Gary Trent. And on the Cavs side, Raj, I feel like Andre Drummond at 8,200 is worth a discussion.
I mean, what's up with his minutes?
So last game, smoked. They got smacked. Blowout. 30 minutes the games prior to that. Games where they stayed close, or even games that were 20-point blowouts. I feel like 30 minutes is what I put on Drummond. And if 30 minutes against Enes Kanter on a back-to-back at 8,200 for Andre Drummond, I think that's a tip in a chair for 50 plus at 8,200. Like, think about the 8K range, right? The Donovan Mitchell, Middleton, Andre Drummond. Like, these are all guys in their spot today where they could drop 50 pluses, and you just get them at a discounted rate. I have Drummond at 43 fantasy points on the nose. I just like the spot for him. If I look at the last couple centers against Portland, we have Joel Embiid last night. dropped 53. Vucevic 61. Joel Embiid again 46. Mitchell Robinson 26 and 34. But Randle also dropped 43 that game.
Drummond over Capella?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
I think I'm probably leading more Capella, but I get it. If he's 30 minutes, it's a spot for him. Again, his ownership might be less than 5%. So AK, a player no one's gonna play at that ownership. Yeah, I'll get to some Drummond. I might think it also. I mean, when the Orlando news fully comes out, Vooch is probably going to take a lot of ownership. But yeah, I mean, I get it. Play Damian Lillard. It's Cleveland. The usage is there. He's going to check the shots. 9-8 on DK. I mean, if you want to start the lineups with Westbrook and Lillard, totally get that. And on FanDuel too, you play those two together, you probably can lock up 100 fantasy points. So cool with that. I mean, back to Gary Trent Jr. Was okay yesterday. I think Carmelo's hot night took a little bit away. Still playing big minutes, so I'd go right back to Gary Trent here. I think the spot for him. And the Cleveland side, anybody other than... I'm probably not going to take a shot at anybody else.
Yeah. Chat says, Des says, do you trust Jared Allen tonight? Going and Ross. No. Jared Allen, 6-5 day. I feel like the price is cheap. I got him at 30 fantasy points on the nose. I might put him as a tier 3, just late night exposure.
I think with Drummond, his upside is limited. Yeah, he just his upside is so limited with Drummond in.
Rebound. They can eat each other's rebounds, but
yeah,
man, Drummond last game 36, but that came at the expense of Drummond's minutes. Excuse me.
Yeah.
Okay.
Allen got blowout run.
Yeah, trust is a strong word. Melo had 17 real points in the fourth quarter, says Ghost. Yeah, he was on one. The real Melo. Hold up. I like the under for the Lakers game. How about you? For the Lakers and the Grizzlies? I don't know, man. I like the under until they go to overtime, right? I don't know. We got one game left on the docket to pause for the cause and ask for two. Chat, hit me with some love. Hit that thumbs up, man. Let's get this video. We have only been getting like 30, 40 thumbs up this week. Can we get the 50 plus? That would just be phenomenal. If you guys want to hang out with me after the party, it's the after party, and after the party, it's the Discord lobby. I'm trying to make that a thing. If you guys want to hang out with me in about 20 minutes, I'll be in the RunDFS.com VIP Discord voice chat. You guys can grab a mic, join the conversation, or just listen in and interact with the text chat here. We have the bot Dacker fetching all of our NBA news and inactive stuff like that. And when stuff like Isaiah Roby looked like he could be a late game time decision happens at everyone, or yesterday when we had the slew of Mason Plumlee out, Tyler Hero out, like you just get hit with that everyone tag and get that notification on your phone or on your desktop that, hey, something impactful may be happening for your lineup. So we also have that props and betting tab, which is in a de facto tab to discuss some picks as well for prize picks. Already see Chronic and Rich in there talking some early stuff that they like. Then, of course, you'll have the link to the spreadsheet. But that pre-lock voice chat, 2 hours is where it's at. Fun way to hang out. I think today's going to be really, really good because I like this slate quite a bit. I just love the range and lineups I can make today. I think it's going to be a fun mass entry day. If you guys want to be part of that and also get access to the RunDFS.com VIP Discord, get access to my personal player pool. Here's a peek at what I did yesterday, how it works, my favorite plays, my safest guys that I want the most of, tier 1s, 2s, 3s, my values, stuff like that. You don't have to use my player pool. You can just cross-reference it from yours to mine and maybe bounce some ideas off each other. But that's what we offer here. I also have my proprietary projections for DraftKings, FanDuel, Yahoo, my player props tab if you guys are looking to maybe go after prize picks a little bit. I do have my projected prize picks, fantasy points, player points, rebounds, all that good stuff. It's a fun time. So if you're just looking to grow as a DFS player, or even as a sports bettor, we definitely invite you to come be part of our community. I love it. I love it. I love it. All right. Hit that thumbs up. Show some love. just thumbed up. What's up, great filibuster? Man, I appreciate that. Solid Pick says, why no Sexton? If this game is close, he's going for 40 fantasy points at that price. Use him with Drummond. Man, Colin Sexton just doesn't tickle me here. But 6'5", 6'6". I don't think you're crazy for that call, right? Like, it's just one of those guys that maybe doesn't land in my stuff. I don't think that's a crazy call, though. But I'm probably not there. But there's going to be good plays tonight. They're just not in my player pool, and it is what it is. I can't play everyone. But I think you're not crazy. Dad says, stop hating on Gun. Like this video. No. We don't shoot. No. I like Osmo. I like all the other sites. We got nothing but love for them. So we're not here shooting slugs. But appreciate the thumbs up. Jim says, hi Gun. Would you put DeRozan and Trey and Grant in one lineup? Trey Lyles? I don't have early infatuation for Trey Lyles. He played 26 minutes against Golden State. That feels like that might have been blowout induced on a back-to-back. I don't think I would touch Trey Lyles on this slate. That just seems like there's a lot going on. So no, that's the answer. If it's Trey Lyles, unless you mean like there's not even Trey Burks. I don't. That's the only Trey I can think of. Mopar says you would take the over or under on Cat 4 assists tonight. Against the Hornets?
Probably
that's a
over.
good question. My knee-jerk reaction's over, but let me think about that. So Cat's assist rate, just in general, there's only 5 games of sample size, so I'd probably have to dig it back to last season, but just in general, it's at 18%. And if I take off D-Russ, I feel like Rubio might be even worse to help his assist rate. I don't know if I touch that here. But just for doing due diligence here, let me take off D-Russ, see if that impacts it at all. Goes to 17% assist rate, and then if I put that to last season, it goes to 21% assist rate, and on this season, Karl-Anthony Towns is averaging 4 assists. I don't think I would touch that. I'd probably just leave that one off the cart. It seems a little close, but the matchup seems soft enough. But I don't think I would add that to my card. Jakob Poeltl played so bad last game, but it seemed like he had a good matchup tonight against Atlanta. Yeah. No love for Lou Williams. What's up with that? The price on Lou Williams and the volatility is there. I don't think it's a bad play. With Reggie Jackson starting last game, I want to see if that's going to be the way they re-roll it today. But for the most part, 6K on Lou Williams this season just hasn't been a strong place for him to live at. There's been a couple games recently where he's been fine. So if you got that feeling in your bad knee with the storm coming in, go for it. Definitely think without Paul George, he's got a puncher's chance of being a fantastic play. But for a little bit cheaper, I'd probably land on Jordan Clarkson.
Yep.
Against the Bucks, closer game, faster pace, and I know he's the sixth man, and he just has, performed well. So let's get to the last game on the docket. Project starting 5 here for the Magic at the Sacramento Kings. Cole Anthony, Evan Fournier, who knows? James Ennis, Gary Clark, and Nikola Vucevic taking on Darren Fox, Buddy Hield, Harrison Barnes, Marvin Bagley, and Rashawn Holmes. We got a 2-2-2 and another one 2 as our total. 8.5-point spread in favor of the home team. Sacramento Kings catching the Magic on night 2 of a back-to-back. Magic could likely be without everyone. There's going to be 4 players. It's going to be nuts. No, the Cole Anthony, Evan Fournier situation, they were both out last night. Evan Fournier showed earlier this season that when he has back spasms, there's a chance he could miss upwards of a month. I'm not speaking on behalf of their training department. Maybe they purposely kept him out because of the back-to-back or what have you. But until guys are in, when they miss several games, I got to consider them out. So that's probably how I'm approaching this one. I'm probably going to project Fournier out. They did not practice Friday morning for the second leg of the back-to-back, so nothing has changed in regard to his status. If Fournier can't go, Terrence Ross will be a big beneficiary. Michael Carter-Williams is probable, not on the injury report. He would probably be somebody that's that become. I didn't even say he would become chalk because people just don't know what to do, and that's the last game on the slate. But is he a pivot to Peyton Pritchard? I don't know. In theory, leverage-wise, perhaps. Cole Anthony's questionable. He has missed a couple of games. He has a shoulder injury. There was no shoot around this morning to get an update. And Frank Mason, right groin, has been ruled out. So essentially, if I'm building lineups right this very minute, I probably go on what we have had. And that's no Cole Anthony, no Evan Fournier, and adding MCW back into the mix. Now, MCW missed a lot of time, so I can't expect deep minutes from him, and he's not really a guy that I expect to be a juggernaut offensively. I think if this team's going to stay competitive and put up real points, it's going to be Vucevic, it's going to be Terrence Ross, 1 and 2, and then last night we saw James Ennis could be a different player for them, and even Dwayne Bacon might surprise you. So I do think if you are, an 11-game slate, don't catch yourself slacking, right? Don't get caught with your pants down because you're waiting on Magic news, because there's a good chance you just don't get it. I will say we did get it early yesterday. It wasn't significantly early, but maybe just have a player pool ranking in your head of what would you do. Because I'll be honest, right now, if you know Fournier or Cole Anthony's in with their injury stuff, like you're probably just not even going to take the chance here. And a lot of people don't play him. So they'll probably be at low ownerships, and then midway through the slate, if we get one of them in, you might go back and tweak some lineups, and maybe some of the lineups that look a little bit dead, you add these guys in just for the heck of it if we know they're in. But for the most part, I think it's just going to be Vooch for me and T-Ross for me. Now, Terrence Ross could be a tier 1 type player for me, Raj.
I'm with it.
Very volatile, but last night you saw it. Like if this team's gonna score, Terrence Ross is gonna have to pick up some slack. If someone, is there a murder going on in the background there, Raj? I don't want to,
Some background noise. Now we good.
Okay, 41 minutes last night for T. Ross, 27 shot attempts, and he shot less than 30%. Imagine if he shot 40%. I think tonight will be more of the same if those same guys are out. Even if MCW is in, I don't look at him as a scorer. So 20-plus shot attempts at 5.6K or under 5K against the Sacramento Kings, who, by the way, Sacramento Kings have the league's worst defensive efficiency rating. I like my chances of that. So early on, I'll probably prepare to have copious amounts of Terrence Ross, and I'm hoping we get that news pretty quickly. Vucevic at 9.8 on FanDuel, 9.4 on DraftKings. I got to have that 50-plus fantasy point performance, but once again, I got him projected for over 50 fantasy points. He thrived last night. They were way more competitive last night than I pegged them for against the Warriors at home with what they were working with, and even more so considering that Frank Mason went down. So I'll probably get there. I think the field wants to be there, but because it's the last game on the slate, I'm curious to see where the ownerships do end up falling. On the Kings side, Darren Fox is 9K. I think because of the matchup, right? We've seen point guards and scoring guards terrorize the Magic. Because of the matchup, I can see him pay off that 9K price tag. But because of the competition at that price, like a Westbrook, like a Kawhi, just like guys that are plus minus 500-600, I can see his ownership being low yet again. And I think, maybe because of that, I put him as a tier 3. I got him at 37 minutes. Buddy Hield's another guy cheap enough on FanDuel for me to take a shot at. And then Rashawn Holmes on DraftKings, 5,600. I like his puncher's chance at 30 fantasy points. So several different ways to go with this last game. And it's just another example of a fun game on the slate that, we can use a lot of the skill sets that we've already developed, leverage, game theory, and stuff like that, and just kind of take advantage of spots where maybe the field is a little too scared to take advantage of. Raj, what are you doing with the main event tonight? This is the hammer time game.
I think Vooch is probably going to be like a tier 2, great play. It's Sacramento. You want to target him. Terrence Ross, tier 1, got his price tag. FanDuel price is a joke at 4,900. Lock him in there. One of the highest known guys on that site. Even on DraftKings, great play. 27 shots yesterday. You mentioned Rashawn Holmes. He's fitting in some lineups nicely. But I mean, Rashawn Holmes versus Al Horford, same price. I'll probably lean Al Horford.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm going with him there. But I get it. Like I said, the Aaron Fox, I'm with it. Again, point guard. We saw what Steph did to Orlando yesterday. They can't guard the point guard, even though they might get Mike Carter-Williams back, but he's only going to play limited minutes. 38, 35, 38, 38. De'Aaron is playing all the minutes. So, I think he's an elite tournament play. That is like an elite, guys making tons of money, just probably just pivot. You know what? Forget Westbrook. I'm playing De'Aaron Fox today. I love Fox today.
Raj,
great spot.
Tell me you stood in front of a mirror for hours.
I just make sure I hit the De'Aaron Fox. Let him know.
How now, brown cow? De'Aaron Fox. De'Aaron Fox does dirty things. It's like,
Yep.
what is this? You gotta change, man.
De'Aaron. Yep. Yeah. So no, give me. I think Fox is an elite play today.
So when you put that in practice, and you have 9K for a point guard on DraftKings, and you're looking at Russell Westbrook, and you're looking at Darren Fox.
Click on Fox in large field tournaments. Easy. Cash game, your op's not going to do that. But in large field tournaments, yeah, it's just the easy pivot click.
Mm-hmm.
Even on FanDuel, you want to start a lineup with Vooch and Fox, even on DraftKings. I think that's fine. They can go back and forth.
Yeah, positive correlated. There's a lot of positive correlation guys that want to run at each other. Like I love LaMelo versus Cat. Dame. We mentioned Dame versus Drummond's an interesting one. I don't know, just like there's a lot of spots like that. So Fox versus Vooch. Any other no Holmes, no Fox. Buddy Hield. If I tell you he's gonna play 37 minutes in a matchup that let Fred VanVleet score 50 real points. Or Harrison Barnes at 30.
Hield kind of reminds me like a Terrence Ross play. Not as safe, obviously, but you can get hot from three, get those peripherals. I think he has some upside. I do love my boy Harrison Barnes, looking like the Celtics are trying to trade for him. 6'7". He's a guy that can get you 40 plus, or he can get you 20s. So if you fall into it, it's there. But small forward again, there's some value guys there. I like. So I'm probably not gonna get to any Harrison Barnes. A quick back to a game I think I missed. New York, Washington. What do you do with Avita?
Avia.
Yeah.
My early looks was like Hachimura and Bertans, and it's just like I'm not even warm and fuzzy on that. Avia was a great overseas and could deliver. Like it's not fun.
Without Westbrook, I just think he could break the slate.
Without Beal.
Yeah, without Beal, I just think he's a guy who can take some playmaking away from Westbrook. Ish Smith's minutes last game were down for whatever reason. So I just think Vita could definitely play that Bradley Beal role, and he might break the slates. Just want to throw that as a value guy out there.
In my head, I'm thinking that team offensive efficiency is tanking, and their defense will be horrendous. I think there's a world where the Knicks smoke the Wizards tonight, and that's got me spooked.
I hear you.
It is the Knicks, but just pull up metrics here. First of all, the Knicks are going to run the slowest pace, right? And the Knicks have the fourth best defensive rating in basketball.
Fair.
I just in my head, so that's why it's got me a little spooked. Where Westbrook seems too good to be true, and I'm looking at Kawhi and alternatives, because they could just go out there and shoot 20% as a team and get slapped. But I don't know. It is what it is. Chat, let's get caught up here before we get out of here. Russ says, Gun, could you revisit Horford question? Torn out how I feel about Horford in a 71-minute sample without SGA and others. He has a 30% usage rate and a 1.79 fantasy point per minute. It's hard to look past at this point. Yeah, so I definitely think the sample size will neutralize the long-term efficiency of him, but short-term at his price point, he's even if he regressed to 40 fantasy points, we take it at that price point. So just individually, I like the spot that he's in on a short bench. When I expand on that a little bit, I don't like the matchup. I don't like the game or anything past him in his price point. But because of the price, because of his role projected today, and if Isaiah Roby's out again, at that price, I probably still have to gamble on Horford. And like I said, even if he did regress from 60 fantasy points to 40, that's still a good play at that price. Sound like somebody being there. Yeah, bombed his name again. Let's go. Raj cannot say Darren Fox's name right. He tried. He did.
The Aryan. The Aaron. The Aryan. The Aaron is the right way.
Life of Sen, what's up? Average 30 points per game last 7 games versus the Orlando. Is that Darren Fox's last? That could be a cool click. Let me see. Darren. Whoa, hey,
That's what it is.
Hands off the Darren Fox, DKP by game log versus Magic last 10 games. 44, 20, 60, 36. Maybe I read what you said wrong. Lorenza Russ, great answer. Thanks for your touching. No problem. All right, chat. Anything else for me? Throw it at me. Otherwise, twitter.com/Gundacker Sports. That's where you guys can reach out to me a little bit more. Somebody did ask about player props and if I had any favorites. Early on, my favorite player props are Middleton over 6.5 assists, Donovan Mitchell over 5.5 assists. And after I resweep my projections, I will maybe come up with some more, and I'll post those in the Discord. Otherwise, I gotta get in that Discord. It's 3:59. I appreciate you guys hanging out with me. I'll try and drop a stream tomorrow. I don't know what time, but I'll probably announce it on the I'll probably announce it on Twitter. Yeah, I'll probably announce it on Twitter. Let me see. NBA schedule tomorrow. NBA schedule real quick. If you guys are heading out of here, checking out some of the other awesome live DFS content, be sure to hit that thumbs up before you head out. Tomorrow is a 2-4-5 game slate. Really a 4-game main slate. Ooh, do we do a stream? Maybe. If I did a stream tomorrow, it would probably be around 4 Eastern, 3 Central, maybe 4:30, 3:30. We'll see. I did that time slot yesterday, and everybody was on the air. But I'll see you guys tomorrow. Favorite small forward above 8K on FanDuel. Easily, Kawhi Leonard. I love you guys. Crush it tonight. Good luck. God bless. And go win some money.